life. Back to reality. Tottenham's never going to beat us in a yard. You know this. Let's go. Hey, people. Tottenham never going to beat us in our ground. We already know this. This was a statement win. What we did today, it was a statement win. We put everyone on guard. You know what? Let me just stop. Why am I saying it's a statement? We still haven't. We played 8 games this season in the league, and I guess we still haven't played any big teams, unless because people don't want to count Tottenham as a big team. Also, what about these agendas that people keep having? Let's go through some of them. So people want to talk about Ramsdale not being a good keeper. Ramsdale saved us. Lloris cost Tottenham, right? Let's talk about Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus scored an open play where Harry Kane scored a penalty. Like, didn't do anything else the rest of the game. Where was he the whole game? Son, where was he the whole game? Where were some of these guys the whole game? Midfield, people keep talking about Højbjerg this, Højbjerg that, Højbjerg better than Partey. Partey opened up the game with the screamer, came back, showed him why you should fear him. I told these guys you should fear Partey. You know, they said, ooh, Partey. Ooh, that's what they said to me. Started making jokes. You put you guys in your place, you know what I mean? All you Tottenham fans that kept chatting all this shit, kept chat. No. Respectfully hold that L, go back to your house and realize you guys aren't this team that you think that you are. Tottenham's tactics were woeful. They never broke us down. They never did anything to us. But yeah, let's get straight into it. We're going to get into the match reaction. We're going to get into everything. This was just a little quick sneak peek. We got to go through a bunch of the things throughout the game, and you guys can call in also. We got Gunnar Souls in the house. Big up Gunnar Souls. But yeah, let's get this show started. That's what we did to Tottenham. Smack that ass. Listen, I'm just going to tell you guys right now. I need you guys in the chat to let me know who your man of the match was. If you're watching this right now on the playback or live, put it in the comment section who your man of the match was, who you thought the best player in the match was. There's a poll in the chat asking you guys who you thought was the man of the match. Also, if you haven't put a like on the video, take a second and slap that like button like we slapped Tottenham today. On top of everything else, I will tell you guys this. Gunnar Souls, how you feeling? I think I have your prediction somewhere. Did you predict a 3-1 also?
I think so. Yeah, that's the prediction I went with this week.
I think you did do a prediction because we did a whole prediction show, remember? And when it came to Gunnar Souls versus Tottenham, I think you put 2-0 win.
Oh, 2-0. Yeah, I can't remember now.
You had a 2-0 win last time I spoke to you, but did you change it?
No, for your stream, I don't know. I mean, I said I want a 2-0, but I think it'll be 3-1. But okay. The thing is, yeah, like looking at this game, I don't understand where the chest for Spurs comes from. They are glorified Stoke City. Genuinely, if you look at their action map and look at Stoke City's action map in the Premier League, guess what you'll find? If you did a blind test, don't put the logos on. Just find the Stoke one without looking at the logo, without knowing you've searched them, and then look for the same identical map for Spurs. I'm telling you, you won't know which one's which. And that's the thing. They're glorified, don't win anything, yet they want to talk to us. Yet they want to talk about our players being bottle jobs. Yet they want to talk about us finishing 5th. You're talking about all these elite managers that they've had. Jose Mourinho's coming. Pochettino's the next great thing to come into football. You know, then you've got the likes of now you've got Conte. What's your fucking excuses now? They keep talking with their chest. They keep coming at us, but they can't do anything. And I remember, they used to come for us because we rated Arteta. We said, give the man time and he'll show you what you can do. They kept talking about, and also it's funny because I agree we don't really have an out-and-out world-class player. Yet they, with chest, can say they've got 2 world-class players in their team. Yet they can't do anything. Make it make sense. We've done something with a bunch of outcasts. Arteta comes in, first 6 months, gets that team to beat Chelsea and Man City to go win an FA Cup, and then goes on to pushing on and rebuilding the team. It's, you know what? This today showed me what I needed to see, and it's the bounce backs. You know what the other good thing was? Yes, we scored first in 20 minutes, which was good. Okay. Secondary to that, we conceded, and we conceded because it was our own fault in terms of Gabriel being a bozo. But did you see how we responded to that? We stopped making mistakes. We stopped, letting that affect us as the game went on. We solidified ourselves, which we normally don't do in these big games. Once we make that kind of mistake, we let our heads go. And Arteta, one thing he did, which I am so glad he did, he told them, take shots outside the box. Because against low block teams, that is your key to winning a game. And that's what Partey did. Then you've seen when Taney came on, he started doing it. Odegaard had a few more shots. And you know what the other thing is? I don't think we played that well, yet we schooled them. That,
you know what?
for me,
I just
is
want
the
to say
biggest
this.
thing.
Shout out to some of the people in the chat saying Richard Keys has approved of the win. That is great to know. Big up to that planker.
Oh, fuck him, dickhead.
Whatever you guys call him. Tottenham were shit. Let me call it as it is. Any Tottenham fan watching this right now, you can tell me what you thought about your team's performance. I thought Tottenham were terrible. I thought Tottenham did not do anything to show us any threat at all. They did not create any chances. They did not do anything. They got the penalty because Gabriel has a bozo gene in him. And bar the penalty, they weren't scoring anything else. They needed 3 penalties in this game to equalize. That's how poor they were. And Antonio Conte's tactics, they didn't work. Once you're down 2-1, we don't need to go and play high line. We don't need to go and play aggressive. We don't need to go and chase the game. But guess what? You know the difference between Mikel Arteta and Antonio Conte, Gunnar Souls? They're chasing a win, and he puts on 5 defenders. We are chasing a win. We put on attacking players to try to make a difference. This is the difference. You guys continue to say Antonio Conte is a legendary manager. He's this, he's that. Where's his balls? Where's his balls? Put your balls on the line. Chase the game. It's a North London derby. Where are you? Where are you? What are you doing to improve your side? What were you doing to actually improve them? If you want to adjust yourself a little bit, just so I'll keep it the bigger side, because there's only the 2 of us today. But yeah, people are saying, come on, lads, we humbled those boys. Yeah, we humbled them because they weren't. What were they expecting? Were they expecting to come to the Emirates and make a difference and change their game? Something, I don't know. Hit that like button, guys. We got 17 people in the chat. Gunnar Souls, let's just talk about some of these moments in the game. First thing, we basically put the doubters away today. Do you disagree? We basically made everyone stand up, and this was a statement victory. And we told them, you know what? You kept saying, who did we beat? Well, now we have Tottenham on that list of teams that we beat. Are you now going to respect it, or is it still going to be Tottenham's a shit team? We're supposed to beat them. Because in my opinion, Tottenham is the same as Crystal Palace when it comes to our house. We're expected to beat them. And if we lose or drop points against them, it's embarrassing.
I don't personally think it should change any narratives. That's my personal belief, because it's a win that we always get. They've only won one in, I think it's like 50 or 60 years or something. So it's not something that I'd say they should change their opinion just because of this one fixture. Now, the next one, yes, you can start having that conversation. If we get a result or we beat Liverpool, then yes, because there are mental things. There is football heritage. There is a history that repeats itself. And we do struggle to Liverpool. So if that game, we go and beat them, regardless of their current form, regardless of the fact they may lose to Brighton today, that doesn't change the fact that their team is still one of those teams that we just can't, for some reason, we just can't get over the hurdle of beating them. So, no, I don't think, we should be hyping it up as much as we have. Yes, it's a North London derby, and we should be happy that we beat them. The same way if, United beat City tomorrow, for example, even though they might not be who they used to be in terms of going and winning a title, but they should be happy that they've beaten those kinds of teams, because that's what derbies are all about. But it shouldn't. If your opinions change because of this, then all along you've either lied, or you put a face forward, or you're just doing it to appease an audience, because you can't change your opinion on a fixture we've always won. If we had beaten United and people's opinions were like, do you know what, fair play to you, because that's a ground you go to and don't do well at, and you've beaten them, then I can understand. But not games we win season on season. But that's my view. I'm not trying to put a downer on the win or anything like that, but we've done this before. So it's not for me the bar we need to set. But
No, it's fine. I completely get it. Someone here saying Tottenham can only play counterattack. Game goes down to 10 men. Proves this in their capitulation. Well, you might have a point there, but
That's annoying because we did them a favor. Now Emerson can't play for 3 games. There's a blessing for
We'll
them.
see. We'll see if we did them a favor because Emerson Royal spent £1 million trying to get better as a footballer. I don't know how that's. Arsenal's second goal was Spurs' mistake. You know what? You can say whatever you want. All I can say is that first goal versus Thomas Partey was no one's mistake but Thomas Partey's brilliance. And you know, bro, people laughed at me when I said Thomas Partey is going to be the difference maker between today and today and the last time that we played. Bro, he slotted that away perfectly. Did you see? Let me show you the angle, by the way, of this goal. Let me show you the angle of this goal. Thomas Partey's goal that he scored today. He put that away and he didn't smash it. He just placed it perfectly in the corner. Lloris had no chance in a million years. And I was just proud moment to see Thomas Partey come back from injury to make such a big difference in this game. And he just shows to everybody when people keep saying best ability is availability. Yes, but just because he's not available doesn't mean you can discredit his ability.
True. Do you know one of the biggest blessings, right, for Thomas Partey is El Neni getting injured, so his long shot coach is available to teach Partey how to shoot. That's all we saw today. Yeah, Joe. You know what? I am going to give Thomas Partey some credit because this is the one thing I love about players. Do you know how many times he's missed and now there was chance in the stadium, don't shoot every time Partey got into those opportunities and he still did it? Like you've got to credit his like kahunas to just keep going. That's what separates the elite players from those who just don't quite make it because he's willing to take that risk. It was a prime time to do it, but that could have gone horribly wrong, and it could have been another one that goes to Rhodes' head. So you know what? Credit to him, and credit to him and his ability and his self-belief, because it's easy to like hear a crowd saying don't shoot or criticizing your shooting, and then for you to still keep going. Incredible.
Okay. People in the chat, let me know what you guys thought about Thomas Partey as we keep it moving on to the next topic. Yo, my guy, One Touch, bro. If you want to jump on. Let me know. Just send me. I'll send you the link right now. If you want to jump on. Actually, the link is in the chat, so you should be able to jump on, guys. The link is in the chat right now. I'm putting it in the chat as we speak. But yeah, 3-1 light work. Be inevitable. Come on, you guys. Big up Xhaka. Big up Xhaka. And you know what? Before we get to Xhaka, let's just talk about some of these other moments. People keep talking about the penalty. Yes, it was a penalty, and Harry Kane slaughtered away. But should we have a little concern over Gabriel giving away the penalty? Should we have some concern over Gabriel's penalty that was awarded and his consistent little mistakes here and there? Are you concerned about Gabriel, center back, of course?
I'm not going to sit here and lie to people. I am, and I think it's something which, if it continues this season, we're going to need to start looking at potentially getting someone in, because it can't continue. We can't keep getting away with giving away silly mistakes, because I don't think it was needed. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it and being too harsh on him, but I don't think giving away that penalty, he needed to go and dive in for it the way he did. But I don't think.
I agree.
But I don't think it's solely his fault. I also don't want to sit here and go, because that situation shouldn't have happened. I think we should have dealt with it better. But at the same time, when Saliba, who's younger than you, is more composed and more sort of finely tuned as a defender at a younger age, it's a little bit concerning, because you've had, what is it now, his third season to accustom to the Premier League, and he still doesn't seem to be up to pace. It's a bit concerning. How long do you give him until you start not writing him off, but start thinking, okay, we need him to be a backup and bring someone in for him?
You know what though? It is a clear penalty. It is a clear penalty. We can't deny that. That was a clear penalty.
Oh yeah, 100.
And as much as you want to say it's not a penalty, it's just you gotta admit it and say, you know what, that was a penalty. It is what it is. Tottenham scored, and we move on. But from them scoring that goal, I'm concerned to a degree, but I think the young man needs to relax a little more and trust his ability. 100%. He needs to trust his ability a little bit more. I'm happy with Jesus. Did not get a yellow today. Yep, definitely. That's massive that Jesus didn't get a yellow today. Penalty is accumulation of Partey losing 50-50, Son at the midfield, Xhaka touch in the box, and then Gabriel challenge. Yeah, there was a cumulative situation where there's many different things that led to that. M is in the chat. Shout out M coming through. Pick up M. Tomiyasu can play in that for Gabriel, sit on the bench. You could also play Ben White there. There's a lot of things you can do. But I want to just get on to the next thing, Tottenham's attack, or should we even call it an attack? Tottenham did nothing today, boys. What, like, will Tottenham style even work in this if they continue to play this way? Like, I know this is an Arsenal match reaction, but we're looking at their style of play and what they did. They were irrelevant.
Yeah, remember, Igor, when I told you there's a few teams now that they've played, and it was Sevilla in the preseason. Then they played Sporting, and even when they played Chelsea, I don't think they should have won that game or even drew that game. And they got lucky to do that. But every time a team expresses themselves or presses them or plays with a bit of high energy, they don't seem to have an answer. And that's a repeat. And by the way, this is actually a repeated pattern, not these stupid patterns that I'm seeing where because we didn't beat United, all of a sudden we can't be title challengers because we lost one game. Like, not that kind of pattern some people are put out there, but this is a genuine repeated pattern where certain teams are playing a certain style and Spurs have no answer for. We played a high line, so they can't now sit there and go, we played perfectly into the hands of a counter-attacking team, yet they couldn't do anything. That's because, because you know why? Because once you nullify their counters, they don't have a plan B. They can't play to a secondary system. Whereas with Arteta, like you mentioned before, Conte brought on all these defensive changes, which in hindsight, I do think it was the right thing to do to solidify their midfield because they were being overrun. But they just don't have that quality or depth to be able to, do it like-for-like replacements. But bringing Son and Richardson off was a bit amateurish, and that's something Arteta would have got absolutely grilled for. But what Arteta does, he turns it into this 3-5-2, 3-back, whatever, going forward, because it always changes. But he brings on Nketiah for a defender. Then he also brings on someone more attacking just to try and influence the game. He brought on Pepe, for example, last season against Wolves to change the dynamic of the game. Whereas with Conte, can't do that because he has a set way of playing. But secondary to that, for the past, I'd say 3 to 4 seasons, Spurs have been reluctant to changing their DNA because Pochettino had the perfect template for what they needed to do moving forward, and they scrapped that and went with Jose Mourinho and then brought in Antonio Conte. And the problem is you've got so many profile of players that don't sink in, and when a team presses them, they don't have the midfield. I don't understand what the reluctance to playing Basuma is. Basuma would have been perfect to nullify what we can do, but for some reason he doesn't want to play him. So the question is to
honestly don't care. Good for them. They play terrible football. And the reason why I feel like this Spurs team is a little bit overhyped is because, yes, you can do this against other teams that don't have the quality. But when you play Arsenal away from home at our ground, you cannot come to expect them to just try to play on the counter the whole time and not have anything else or any other dimension. They have no other plans. They had no other way to score. If it wasn't for the penalty, they would have never got on the score sheet. So in my opinion, today they're lucky that the scoreline was only 3-1 because in my opinion it could have been 3-0 because the penalty was deserved. But my main point is they didn't do anything to earn that goal. They haven't really worked. They haven't really worked us at all. A lot of our players left this match with no mud on their shirt, nothing, and it seemed like it was another day at the office. It wasn't even a derby for some of them because I didn't see Tottenham players getting stuck in at all. But yeah, that just showed how good we were, how quality we were. We outclassed them. I really believe we outclassed them today. That's what it comes down to. We outclassed them. We showed them a different level of football that they haven't seen from us. And Spurs have been found out. Wisdom spoken. Thank you. Big up. Now, just moving on from that, let's go to the next topic that I had. I wanted to talk about the penalty shout on Dier. Did you see that? Did you see
was
the
that
penalty
the Jesus and Dier one where he cuts
let me show you. So Dier fully trips Jesus's foot up completely. He completely trips up Jesus's foot. and it looks like you should, from that angle, it looks like it should be a straight penalty. And if it's a Tottenham player, I don't question for a second that they would have given the penalty. But I'm just looking at it and I'm saying to myself, how is this not a penalty? How have they come up with the conclusion that this is not a penalty, but the other one on the other hand was? I get it that the other one had more of a thing and the ball was pushed away from him, but Dier clearly takes out his foot. And yes, it should have been a penalty, but after a clear trip from Dier on Jesus. So Dier trips him. Dier trips Jesus. It's not an awful challenge. It's not like he's challenging him like Gabriel did to Richarlison, but he trips him in the box. He has the ball. Two defenders are there. I think the only reason why they gave it is because Romero was also there with him. If Romero wasn't there with him, they wouldn't have given it. But for me, at 2-1 down, at 2-1 up, I was looking at this moment and I'm saying to myself, that should have been given. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, the letters of the law, yes, it's a penalty because there's contact clearly made by Dier inside the box, and obviously he's away from the ball, so that is a clear foul. But in the same sense, like, it is soft and it's a very 50-50 sometimes. And this is the problem with officiating as a whole, that some games they'd give that as a penalty, but some games they don't give that as a penalty. So it's a bit annoying. This is why I want the refs to come out and say why, or VAR to come out and tell us why something's given and something's not, because it at least clarify to us what they're looking at and what perspective they've taken. And I think when that happens, there's more consistency in the game. But yeah, to be fair, I think the refereeing and VAR overall was brilliant today. I've got no complaints at all. I think they let things go, which would have been problematic if they didn't let things go for both sides. But I think Romero could have got a yellow card very early in the game, twice actually, and so could have Jesus. But they let things go and didn't card straight away. And I think for a derby, it was perfectly reffed. And yes, you're going to get some iffy moments like the Dier one where it's very 50-50. Some are going to say yes, some are going to say no. But I'm not complaining. I think fair enough. On another day, that could be a pen.
Okay, I'm just gonna say to people in the chat, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We still have a lot of people who haven't hit that like button yet, so please do hit that like button. It's absolutely free, and give us your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. We have someone here saying Conte is going back to Italy in the morning. Another one here saying enjoy top of the league in 8 games. This time next month you'll be 6th. You guys said that a couple of weeks ago. You guys said that after the first 4 games. You said that after the 5th game. You said that after the 6th game. You're probably going to say that after the Liverpool game. We have been enjoying top of the league since the beginning of the season. That is a fact. And some people just don't like seeing Arsenal fans happy. Where is the smug Spurs fans now? Masterclass, I told you so. Definitely. Big up to you in the chat. John here saying, I can't remember this. I must have been out of the room. Interesting. You can't remember the fact that Dier tripped Gabriel Jesus in the box. Interesting. Referee had a great game. Referee had a great game for us because we seen him give away some penalties and some other stuff. But yeah, let's get into the penalty now. Was this a red card? Was this a red card? Emerson Royale's red card. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm looking at this. The fact that if you remember, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang a couple years ago versus Crystal Palace got given a similar situation. We've seen players like Van Dijk get away with it versus Everton the other day. But the fact that he stomps on the back of his leg, I think it's a straight red, 100% a red. I personally think, I might be biased here, but I just feel like it was a straight red based on the fact that he could have injured him further, and you need to protect players, and you can't be doing stuff like that from the back. He didn't get the ball once. He fully went through his leg. If you're saying it's a yellow and a warning, basically anything he does, he's going to get sent off anyways. So I just think it's a straight red. And you know what? Tottenham fans might not be too aggrieved by it, because now it means Emerson Royale is going to be out for 3 games, and that might be a positive for them in the long run. But yeah, imagine £1 million spent on learning how and practicing and trying to be the best player you can be, and first thing you do in a major derby is get sent off. Ridiculous. But yeah, Chat to me. Do you think this was a red, guys? Let me know in the chat. Do you agree if it was a red? Yes, it's a red, and and I'm a qualified referee. Martin said that. We got Ben in the house, but yeah, Gunner Souls, go ahead. Was this a red card?
100. Okay, I'll break it down to why I think it's 1,000,000% a red card. Number one, look at where the ball is and look at where the tackle is made. Nowhere near the ball. Look at where he's looking. He's looking at the leg and not the ball. There's two things to indicate that he's not there to win the ball. He's there to injure the player or hurt the player. I'm not saying, look, he's got malicious intent, but you can see just by body language and where the viewpoint of the eyes are, it's not the ball that he's trying to get. Then the third and most obvious and something you get taught when you're like born out of your mum's womb is if your studs are up, you're getting a red card. That's the most fundamental thing in football. And look at it. It doesn't matter how high that has to be, it's still the shin and the ankle that the studs are off the ground and make contact with. So there's 3 reasons why a referee can look at that and go red card. Now, I'll be honest, I'll give it to Anthony Taylor because at first I didn't think it was a red. I thought it was a yellow card, one of those just professional foul kind of things, just stupid. But when you look at it in the replay, you're like, yeah, 1,000% that is a red card. Even if it was given against us, I'd be like, yeah, fair play. That is a red card.
Okay. What about you, Ben? How you doing, by the way?
Yeah, not too bad. Good game today. It was a good game because they played well, and we made them look not playing well. Unlike last season when they played bad, and we just played better. So I think that's a good thing. Yeah, that was definitely a red card. If that ain't a red card, I mean that's a red card in rugby. Never mind in football. I mean he weren't playing for the ball. It was malicious. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to do a professional foul, and he's not worked, and he's obviously not clever enough to do that because you see them all the time, don't you? You see professional fouls, but he's going the wrong way, so I don't know why he's doing it. It's a stupid tackle. I don't understand it, but only thing I can think of is he's absolutely peed him off all game. Martinelli was all over him. I mean, if I was him and Martinelli was on that game, I'd be depressed as well. I'd probably want to lash out like that as well. So I think that's what it is. It was definitely a red card. So, but yeah,
okay, very much fair. Let's now shift away from this. We got some people in the chat saying Anthony Taylor, man of the match. Of course, Tottenham fans are going to say that. Yeah, we got Martinelli's leg has been fixed. What are you talking? Yeah, definitely could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse for Martinelli. And just before we do the player ratings, I just want to point out a couple players. And of course, this whole title race thing that people keep saying. So, granted, we'll talk about Granit Xhaka and them throughout the player ratings. Let's just do this title race thing. Forget about this title race chat. There is no title race, people. All I have to say is 1 second. Let me continue. I'll get there. What I'm saying is, focus on winning our next game, and eventually we can discuss that. Right now, I'm just focused on winning our next game versus Liverpool, winning our next game versus PSV, winning our next game versus Leeds, just focus on winning your next games. This whole thing about title, yes, eventually you can get into a title picture, but right now I'm not focused on that. I don't want people to get away from the purpose of what we're doing. What we're doing right now is not to build up pressure on ourselves to say, oh, we're fighting for something bigger than just top 4 right now. First things first, you aim for one thing, and then you strive for more and more and more as you get there. Don't let people deter you. The whole reason why people keep saying title charge, they want people like Ben to say, yes, we are in a title challenge. So then now they have another thing that they can make fun of us about. They don't genuinely it's not a genuine question because most people know Man City are going to probably walk away with this league. But in the case that something does happen, miracles can happen, then we can maybe look into it. But I genuinely don't believe we're in a title challenge. I think we need to focus on top 4 and stop letting other people deter you away and get you into side arguments where they're trying to make you look silly. That's what I think this whole title challenge thing is. It's not real. It's just people trying to run agendas. But yeah, Ben, you think we are in a title challenge?
Where are we in the league?
We're first.
Top. How many games? How many games are we in? Name a team that's gone who's been at the top of the league at this time of the season, won as many games as we have, and not been in a title race. Of course, we're in a title race. We might not be in a title race by next week, or in like a month's time, but at this moment in time, we are in a title race, and I want the players to think they're in a title race, because if they think they're in a title race, they're going to be striving for perfection. I don't want them to think they're in a top 4 race. I don't want them to think that, because that's not the mentality we need to be having, you know. And this is where I side a little bit with where I've always been an Arteta. I've always been a fan of Arteta, but this is where I side with some of the people that are Arteta outers, where they go, we need to be striving for winning. I know Tommy comes on and he says he wants to be winning the league. I want to be winning the league, and I think that's why we need to be all thinking. I think that's why I want the players to be thinking that they're in a title race. And as far as I'm concerned, until we start going on a losing streak, that's where we are. And do you know what I mean? I don't care if I look stupid about it. Do you know what I mean? I don't care if down the line we're not in a title race, but we're not that far away. I know if we keep our injuries, that's all it is. If we keep us injuries and we can manage those, and that's a big if, but that's always a big if. You know, if Man City lose Haaland and a couple of players, they won't be as good as what they are. Do you know? So every team has got it for injuries, and if we keep us injuries, we're in a title race. I don't know, you know, I've seen your predictions on here, and every single prediction was a win. You know, you didn't predict any losers. So if you're not predicting any losses, right?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, go silent about it. I'm not saying puff up your chest and start screaming from the top of the table that we're title contenders. I'm just saying, let's just keep doing what we're doing. Let's just let them overlook us. Let them overlook us. Let them put all the pressure off us. I don't care. I think realistically, this team is good enough to win all our games for this month of October. It doesn't mean we're going to win all our games in the month of November, and it doesn't mean we're going to actually win the league. It just means I'm confident going into the World Cup that we're still going to be comfortably in the top half of the top, maybe 3 or 2 in the table.
Yeah, but I look at it as when you listen to some of the Invincibles, when you look at them out in Keown, they'd beaten their opposition in the tunnel before they come out, because they looked over and they saw champions. And I want the team to think they're champions. I want the team to be coming out. I want us to be going to other people's ground and them thinking that we're title challengers. We're not there to be beaten.
Fully fit. We are as good as every team in this league. The question comes down to injuries, and somebody in the comment section just said that injuries will decide our position at the end of the season. That
decides every season. That decides every single season. Injuries is always. You've always got to have an element of luck on your side. You know what I mean? Every team that's ever won the league has had an element of luck, apart from City, where they've got an element of money. You know, but it's always an element of luck in the team. Look at when Liverpool won it. How many games did they play?
Let me please shift away and back to what we were talking about in a second. But first, let's go to Souls. Souls, did you want to add anything to this title thing, or you want to just go straight into player ratings?
Hey, yo, let's enjoy it whilst we're in it. I don't understand why we can't put our chests out and just start enjoying every moment. With this, you know, one thing that annoys me about this whole football, no one's willing to do it. You're a fan. You know, being deluded is a compliment because it shows you're an actual fan. You know, if someone calls me deluded, I thank them, because I'm like, thank God people think I'm an actual fan here. Because we're top of the league. We're 21 within 24 points. We've lost one game. We've destroyed everyone we've beaten by at least 2 goals. We've won in different manners. We've gone down. We've made mistakes, and we've still beaten those teams. We're not making multiple mistakes in the same game. Why not? We are in a title challenge. You know, because we've been shit for so long, people just can't grasp that we're finally looking good. Now, yes, people have different definitions for what a title challenge is and how many points you've got to be within City, but at the same time, finishing second and having a good season for us is magnificent. Like, that's the steps we need to take. The mentality in that room is we're going to be Premier League champions. If it's not, you go, you leave, you exit. That's the mentality. It doesn't mean we go win the league, but that's the mentality that you go out with every single game like you're going to win the league up until the very last game. Even if it's out of mathematical equations, you still go out there with that mentality. That's what an Arsenal player, that's what an Arsenal fan is meant to be. So for me, that's the mentality I want them to have, and I want the fans to start having that. Because remember when we had that chant, we're going to go to the champion. We've got Gabby in attack, Tierney at the back. We're going to the Champions League. Do you know how much that boosts the players up as well? Like, it's different. Like, the belief. That's why Arteta all summer long has accredited everything that we're doing to the fan and the atmosphere at the Emirates, and why him and Vinay are doing so much with the supporters club, the Ashburton Army, all of that to create this atmosphere. And if we stop believing, do you think the players are going to believe? No. So we need to be that support for them.
You know what? Maybe I'm thinking too much. Maybe I'm too used to being that guy.
Get clipped, bro. Get clipped. It fucking doesn't matter. Let them come for you. Doesn't matter, bro. Stop. Forget about that element of thing.
I'm not going to get too excited yet. I think I need to see how we do against Liverpool. If we beat Liverpool, then we can clearly say,
City lost to them twice and still won the league. It doesn't matter. They're not a defining moment for winning the league.
I'm just not going to get myself into that conversation yet.
Bro, you're a fan. Come on, be a fan. Be a fan.
I am a fan, and I have my ways of doing things, but I generally don't think we are in a title race yet. I think the title race thing, 8 games into the season, I think you have to look at it. Once you get 20, 10 games, once you get between 10 to 20 games, once you get 10 to 20 games into the season, that's literally 2 more games away from now, then you can start saying, this is what the table might look like at the end of the season.
Okay, in 46 years of the Premier League being alive, anyone that had the same start as us, any top 6 team that's had the same start and the same stats as us, has gone on to challenge for the title.
And I still think that this season there is a long way with the World Cup coming around and everything going around. Yes, there might be a lot of different hurdles in the way, but for me, in order for us to be in a title race, I'm saying title race is within a certain amount of points come the end of the year. Title race is not in the first couple months, because then you could say teams like Brighton and Fulham and these guys, when they start.
No, I said top team, by the way, not the small teams who have good starts.
Okay. I digress. Let's move on to player ratings, my guy. We're gonna move on to player ratings now. With the player ratings, it's very simple. The way we're gonna do this, there's 3 of us here. We're all gonna give our ratings, and then we're gonna decide on who we actually want to give the ratings to, right? So we're gonna talk about every player, of course, but the main focus is gonna be on the players that we think are the man of the match type candidates. So first, Ramsdale. I think Ramsdale was good. I think he was better than Lloris. I'm giving Ramsdale a 7 out of 10. No, 8 out of 10. 7.5. What are we saying? People in the chat, play along, give us your ratings. What are we giving?
I think he gets an 8. I think he did some good saves. I think it was he saved the save from Richardson, which I don't know if it was going to be offside or not. That was a great save. Do you know what I mean? And those saves like that, when you do a save like that how much confidence that puts into your team. Doing a good save like that is and for me is an 8. He's not a 7.5. 8.
8. Okay. What about you, Gunnar Souls?
No, I'm going to go 7.5, just because otherwise you set the bar way too high unless you're giving a keeper 1 rating and the rest of the team another. But yeah, I think he had a magnificent game in distribution, and that save was crucial to help us go on to win, because if that had gone in, then the game would definitely be different.
Okay. What about Ben White?
Ooh.
What about
7.5? He didn't do anything wrong. But I can't remember him in the game too much, which is not a bad thing. I mean, when you can't remember a defender in the game, I think that's a good thing. But 7.5.
Solid. People saying 8 for Ramsdale. We ruined their season today. Hopefully. I say 8 for Ben White. Someone here is saying also 8 for Ben White. I agree. 8 for Ben White. What are you guys saying?
I think that's too high. I don't know what he did. He didn't affect the game. I mean, he got the assist, but that wasn't really an assist. That was just a Partey wonder goal. But I've got to go 7.
7. What about, okay, 7. So we're gonna meet in the half, 7.5 for this one.
Yeah.
Okay, 7.5 it is. Moving on. People in the chat saying 7. Hope that red card stick between there. Is London first red forever? Yeah, London's red, man. That's not a question about it. I'm just gonna give him a 7.5 and keep it moving. You guys giving him a 7.5. If we're giving him a 7.5, we got to give Saliba an 8.
Yeah.
Saliba was outstanding, boys and girls. He was
You can
so
even give him an 8.5.
collective. He just makes football look so easy. Like he didn't.
Yeah.
He's in a North London derby under pressure from Kane and Son and these guys, and he's just turning in the box, dribbling out the back like it's nothing. No question about it. 8.
Yeah, that little turn that he did in the box, him and Partey, when I got a little bit worried then, but then I was quite impressed when they got out of it. You know, and how old is he? What, 19 is he, or 20? Brilliant. He is some talent. I can't believe how good he is. Actually, I wouldn't expect him to be as good as this straight away. But yeah, definitely an 8.
Bro, he is amazing. He's actually amazing. Like we got ourselves an amazing player on our hands. But yeah, what are you saying, Souls? What are you giving Saliba?
On form, best defender in the league right now. So I want to give him 8.5. I think he's up there as close to a man of the match contender as there is, because he was one of, I'd say, 3 players that I can give man of the match to.
Okay, so 8.5
for me. Yeah, that's what I would give him.
Okay, we're gonna keep it as an 8 then, because I think I picked 8. I think did you not also pick 8, Ben?
Yeah, I said 8, but I only say 8 because I don't think he deserves anything lower. But 8.5, I'm not complaining at that at all. Either or, I think
we'll give him an 8. We'll give him an 8. We'll just keep it moving. What do we give Magalhaes because of the penalty and the mistake? It's kind of concerning. He's kind of starting to concern me. I'm gonna go first. I'm just gonna give him a 7. No, 6.
Yeah, don't below. No. Nobody after a performance today deserves below 6, so a 6 is fine. But the penalty was a bit worrying, and it was a few other times when he got a bit hot-headed. But yeah, he does seem to be a little bit of the weak link. I think the teams are targeting him, so yeah, definitely a 6 for me.
What about you?
And what do we give him, Ramsdale and White? John?
What we gave Ramsdale a 7.5.
I'd give him a 7, but to be fair, he bounced back from that mistake quite well. I don't think after that he did anything glaringly obviously wrong. So credit to him for that, because bouncing back in a Northern derby like that is brilliant. Because after that he was solid, didn't really do anything too stupid. And to be fair, that situation shouldn't have gotten to him anyway. So I'll give him a 7.
Okay, so you're giving him a 7. So let's go 6.5 then. 6.
Yeah, go for it.
That's a bit too, but yeah.
What, you think that's too low still?
Yeah, I think it's harsh. Yes, see that mistake, which okay, it's a big mistake, but it wasn't all his fault. If we're gonna do that, then we've got to drop points for Partey, we've got to drop points for Xhaka, we've got to drop points for. So I'm not blaming him solely, because there was so much in that, and so many people made a mistake to get to that point. So that's why I want to give him a 7, because he bounced back even after that mistake.
Okay. So 7. We're gonna give him a 7. People in the chat, what are you guys giving him? People are saying they're giving 6s. People are still on Saliba. I'm not gonna lie. I think giving him a 6 is a little harsh. I think giving him a 7 might be right. 7 might be the right answer. So we'll give him a 7. We'll keep it moving.
Yeah, go for 7.
7. What do we give him Zinchenko? Zinchenko didn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, again, I can't remember him too much in the game, but I don't remember him doing anything wrong either. So, I mean, I'd give him a 7 or 7.5. because he didn't do too much wrong, and he did have up against Richardson, which I thought was their danger player for today. I think he was the one that was, if anything was going to happen on their side, it was going to go through him. Obviously, he got the penalty, but yeah, I think he's definitely a 7.5. I don't think he did anything special. I just don't think he did anything wrong, and that to me is what you want from your defenders. You know, if you get that every week from a defender, you're laughing, aren't you? So.
Okay. So we keep it moving from there. What are we saying?
Yeah, 7.5. Just because he has the same impact as Ramsdale and White in terms of they did their jobs. They didn't do anything outstanding that stood out to us, but they didn't do anything wrong. So I can't give him the same as Gabriel, just slightly higher, because obviously he did make the mistake.
People saying 7, 6.5, another 7. Love Zini. I'm just gonna keep it simple. Just give him 7. Keep it moving, guys. Fair?
Yeah.
Thomas Partey, 8.5. What are we saying?
For that goal, got to be a 9. Because how many people in the stadium was going, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot. And how bad he's been shooting, and he still goes for it. I mean, that's got to take some. He's clearly been doing it in training. So that were a brilliant goal. So for me, it's a 9. You score a worldie like that, it's a 9.
What are you saying?
I mean, he was solid man of the match for me today. Everything, like, that's why him and Saliba are the two key reasons to why Spurs couldn't do what they wanted to do. Like, Partey locked off that midfield every time. He was stopping their runs. He was basically what I call a midfield destroyer today. So I'm going to give him 9 because he added the goal to his game and he didn't put a foot wrong. He actually helped us get this win today, and which is what we want to be seeing from him. I think with DMs in football or number 6s, they go really overlooked because a lot of their game is simple, so it doesn't look good on the eye, but they do so much that people don't see and appreciate. So I'm going to give him a 9. I think he had a magnificent performance today.
Okay, keeping it simple. What about so we're giving him a 9?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. Well, that's 9, because he's my actual man of the match.
John in the chat says 8.5. Another one here says 8. But 9 it is. What about Odegaard? What are you giving Odegaard? I think Odegaard gets a 7. I think he was good. I don't think he was outstanding, but I think he did his job. Similar to Zinchenko, he was one of the guys who just keeps ticking away. I think he's starting to get a little bit underrated now because it's like people are using him as a scapegoat here and there. But he showed up and he did what he had to do. He didn't have to get involved in a goal or assist. He's more the pre-assist guy. But 7 I think is fair. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's about right for me. Yeah, as you said, like Zinchenko and Rob Holding, he didn't do much, he didn't do anything like special, but he did his job. So
7.5, fair.
Do you know what? Yeah, there's a huge agenda building against Odegaard because Saka's not playing as well as he can, and everyone's attributing it to Odegaard because the way Odegaard plays doesn't help Saka. But I just feel like that. I don't know why that agenda's there because every time Saka was on the ball, he didn't impact play. So that's why I'm going to give him a 7.5. And I think he's another one where, because he doesn't do anything unless he does something magnificent, like let's say, for example, that outside the foot pass to Jesus becomes a goal, then people are going to sit there and go, oh my God, look at how creative he is. But because he didn't get the direct assist, people just want to hate on him. And that's just what I see.
Xhaka's the exact opposite. Getting the goals, adding the goals and the assist to his game, getting the performances, doing everything aesthetically pleasing. Also, 9 out of 10. Xhaka. He might have made a mistake that helped lead to the penalty, but the rest of his game was spotless. And I think you can point out maybe some mispasses places here and something else, but from minute 1, he was getting forward, he was getting involved in the attack, and he wanted that goal, and he got it. And I think 9 out of 10, I think he's one of the man of the matches, probably the highest rating in this game for me.
He's my man of the match because I just think he's been brilliant since. We seem to be getting the Switzerland Xhaka because when you see him play for Switzerland, that's not the same Xhaka what we've had. But now it seems to be playing further forward, a bit more freedom, a bit more getting in the box. He's shooting. I mean, the shot he had in the first half, imagine if that had gone in. And I've always said he needs to shoot more because he's got an absolute cannon on him when he actually shoots. For me, he's man at match 9.5. So, but
I've already put it. I've already put it at 9.
I'm gonna put it in.
But yeah, what do you say, Gunnar Souls?
Yeah, I agree. I think his redemption arc this season has been magnificent. And on form, he's top 3 midfielders in the league right now. Just based on his form.
Top
just the way
3. I think he's the best number 8 in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's Kevin De Bruyne is still in it, so
Kevin
there's always an
not an
argument
8.
with.
Kevin De Bruyne is not an 8.
But he plays
Kevin
an
De
8
Bruyne
though. But he plays an 8. Technically,
Okay,
he does play the 8 for them. So, but he plays on the other flank. But at the same time, like even then, still going from like one of the worst looked at footballers to becoming, a top Premier League midfielder is still mad. It's crazy to see. And we're finally, maybe this is the Granit Xhaka that Wenger had envisioned, but he just wasn't able to use him in the same manner. Pushing him forward, brilliant. It was a masterstroke. And for the fact that and by the way, I know loads of fans who, when Arteta made this move last season, were against it. They're like, no, but he can't score. No, we need to get Tielemans. We have to have Tielemans because Xhaka can't score. Now, man's shutting them up. There's people who are diehard haters of Xhaka who are now loving him. And you know what? I love it. I love it for him because that's one player I can get behind.
Yeah.
No, I hear that. That's crazy. Okay, let's get straight into it, people. So the final couple people, I'm just gonna do quick fire. I gotta give Saka and Martinelli, both involved in the game, but not really on the goal sheet. They played really well. They didn't put a foot wrong. I'm just gonna give both of them 7.5. You guys agree?
No. Martinelli was brilliant today. He caused so much problems down that left-hand side. I mean, so much problems that the player decided to foul him and get a red card. He was brilliant today.
Okay, so what are we giving Martinelli in comparison to?
I love watching the guy. He definitely gets an 8 for me.
8. I think we're handing out 8s too often now.
North London derby, you win 3-1 on a North London derby. You can't give enough 8s out, I don't think, for me.
Okay. No, but I don't actually think he was. I don't think Saka or Martinelli were that good today. Yes, they had moments and they got into positions, but then made all the wrong choices.
Got an assist again. 5 assists this season.
No, which that's the thing though. Like, I just think overall decision making from the both of them was lacking for me. They got into positions where they needed to cross the ball or be quicker with their decision making. That could have led to more. Like Saka didn't think about his assist and that's why he got it, because he got into a position and he just done it. Like what we've seen last season, the season before. But it seemed like in that first half especially, there was a lot of kind of dwindling on the ball, just waiting for someone to do something rather than take your man on to beat the man and then make that cross go in. And the same with Martinelli. Martinelli was beating his man and then deciding not to cross the ball. So I'm not going to lie, I'm giving them like 7s because I don't think they were as good as people have made it out.
Okay. So that works perfectly because my man's giving 8s, I'm giving 7s. So what's going to happen is we're going to just go 7.5 for both of them. Is that fair, guys? Because meet you in the middle. One man saying give 8s out, other guy saying give 7s out. So meet in the middle. Fair?
It'll have to be.
It'll have to be. And moving on to Gabriel Jesus, 9 or 8. 8.5. If Xhaka's getting man of the match, he's close second. Because he just doesn't stop. Don't forget, he caused so much problems that we almost got a penalty in the first half. He was every single time the ball came into his feet, he was a difference maker with those final touches in and around the box. And it just showed the difference that we had from him and Lacazette last season. Like I know we won last season with the North London derby with Aubameyang, but I'm talking about games against Wolves and everything else. We were playing like the teams that played similar style to Tottenham. We were struggling to break them down. Jesus is just like that extra key that unlocks defenses.
Yeah, I mean, he even did that. He got back for the and tackled Richardson as well, and then he passed around him and stuff like that. And I thought that alone, you're going about his goals, but he still defends. He sees something in game, and he don't just wait for other players to go and do it. He goes and, oh, I can do something about it. I'll go and do it. And where he pops up, I don't where he gets the energy from. He must have about 10 Red Bulls before he goes on pitch, because he's 1 minute he's like left at field, and then a minute he's in middle, and then he's like in a seat. He's more even like a centre defensive position. I think he's brilliant. Yeah, and the goal itself, I saw online that someone was saying, oh, it was a lucky goal. It was a mistake from the keeper, but no, those sort of goals, those scrappy goals are made. From and he's not scared to get them scrappy goals. Right, so I like that about him. It's good.
Nice. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm just gonna let you know that Lokonga got Lokonga and Kieran Tierney both get a 5, and I'm just not gonna give them any ratings. I feel like the game was done at that point. The game was done in 77-minute mark. Let's be honest. Once the red card happened and we were up 3-1, the game was done. And then the final 3, Eddie Nketiah, Tomiyasu, and Vieira barely played. But yeah. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Big up to all the people in the chat for this video. I'll be reclipping up some of the portions of this video and reposting it. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. Big up Gunner Souls for the whole entire time. Big up Ben for jumping on and always supporting the channel. Really do appreciate it, Ben. And we'll be back tomorrow with Vibes from the 6, and we'll be back Monday, potentially with Tap in Tobes talking about the game. But yeah, you guys have yourselves a good one. If you've gotten this far in the video, you're a legend. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we're out of here, people. Peace.